Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Obsidian for TTRPGs. Look at that, I remembered it. So in our last episode, we talked a lot about Markdown, not Markdown, front matter, metadata, properties, YAML, key value, all that fun stuff. And we even found and troubleshot live on air an issue we were having where we didn't have this colon, which told it that this is a property of or a list of Ghostwise, and it got a little confused. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to talk about Dataview, which we installed in the last episode, but I wanted to talk just a little bit about another way you can actually add this markdown. So right now, of course, we have it hidden in our main view. When we're previewing it, we don't see it. We only see it in our edit mode. And we use Control P type properties and told it to show us the current document's metadata. So if we ever switch to another one, there is no metadata for that. But what I wanted to show you is that you can actually do a lot of this same stuff with the GUI. So we actually have an Add Properties button here. So let's say we wanted to add a property to this. We could just click Add Property, and we can choose whether it's a note type or a CSS class. Like if it's a CSS class, this is a special thing for, classes of CSS. I'm not going to go in too much detail because I don't really see you doing that very much. But anyway, when we add those properties, when we add them, we can actually, instead of doing these built-in ones, we can do our own thing. So you'll see note types already there. When we have a brand new one, we actually, I believe, have a lot more options. But we've already used pretty much all of those, so it's not giving us those. But since we already know those, we can always come in and add additional, if we came into here, we could add additional aliases. We could come to the end of here and add more tags. We could add them directly from our tag list, which is under tags, just by doing it here. Or under properties here, we can ignore this. These aren't your only options. Then we can actually just do something and type it in here and say that I want maybe foods. We're going to delete this because it has nothing to do with this, but let's do foods, Foods. So something like that, and then we could give it values and say let's do a comma separated list. I'm curious to see how it does it, but you'll see it's actually creating it inline for us. So let's do maybe is it BANNANA? Banana. Well, that's too many N's. ANA, something like that. Comma, that's way I think there's only one N. BANANA. I think that's it. APPLE, comma, what else? Apple, grapes, GRAPES. So I believe you can come in here and just create your list just like that, and then hit enter when you're done, and you'll see it actually does that. And if we click on it, we can see that it's a property type text. We can tell it that we want it to be a list, or we could actually do it more like that. And yeah, there you go. So now you can see it's a list. Also, I didn't point out that your boolean is also just a checkbox. So here you can see our boolean is set to true. If we click on that, it's now false. If we click it again, it's true. So I just wanted to clear that stuff up. So anyway, that's stuff you can do. This is actually looking at our list as one single thing because it's all under one. I wonder. See, we could click X on that one. Let's try this. If I do BANANA and then a space, maybe. Nope, that's still... okay, I know what I need to do, actually. I do one, hit enter, do the next one. So I'm kind of curious. So as you can see, as a list, it knows that it puts it in the brackets. And I'm just curious how it's going to do it. So if I do I want it to be uppercase, NA, like that, hit enter. See, now it's an item in our list, and you can see it's actually done that. We can then say Apple, APPLE, enter, and do it that way, GRAPES, enter. Now, how would we do something like our Ghostwise Halfling? Let's say we want banana. I wonder if we got rid of that. So here we did a colon. I'm wondering if we would do similar. BANANA colon split. I wonder if it, no, it just treats that as a single item, which is why it put it into quotes, because otherwise it would look at that and say, no, that's another list. So I don't know how, wow, I misspelled grapes too. GRA, my fingers get excited sometimes. So if I were to do this, I wonder how it would output that, and do enter and tab that in. And it looks like it's doing it just basically the same way we have up there. Let's make this bigger. Banana split, except for it has curly braces and stuff. All right, well, that's not the focus, because I don't know how often you're going to be using front matter quite like this. So I'm going to go ahead to foods here. Can I just delete it? If I click on foods, hit backspace? No. Delete? No. Can I click on this? There it is, remove. So that's another way you can add in your front matters. Actually, just come in here and type in these values. If you click on time or date, you can actually click on the little calendar. Can't see the whole thing because it went off the page, but maybe if I did this, you'll see it. So you can see if we click on the little calendar right here, that you can choose the date. If we do the time calendar, you have the date, and then of course the time goes over. But it's only AM and PM that's right there. So if we click on, no, that's not anything. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's about it for now. All right, so let's continue on now and do a little bit of our data view. Shrink that because I don't need that anymore. So how do we access in our note any of this information? We can actually use Dataview to get some of that inline data from up there. So let's go ahead. We're fine here. So in order to do Dataview, now if it's inline, which is what we're kind of demoing right here, you use, like we set up, you can actually set up how it is. If we go under, well, actually I guess we didn't set it up, but the default is you have, is this the one? Yes. You have the equals here to tell it that it's going to be an inline. Now that probably doesn't make sense, but we're going to make it make sense right now. So the way we do a data view access or whatever is we do the little back tick, which is above the tab key next to the number 1 on the, I guess, the US keyboard. I don't know other places, but let's say we want to get the title of this page. So we're going to do TITLE, and we want the title to be in bold. So we're going to go around our data view and we're going to put 2 bolds there, and then we're going to actually tell it this is going to be our data view query. And the way we do that is we have our little ticks, kind of like we did down here, which was our code blocks, I believe. But there's 3. With data view inline, it only needs to be a single one. So if we come in here and we hit equals was the next thing, so it knows this is data view inline query. And then because we want data from this document, we use the this keyword, and then we do dot, and this will access the stuff up here. So we want our key of title. So TITLE, like so. And hopefully this works on the first try, because it doesn't always. So where is our data view? Tags. Title, markdown cheat sheet. Look, it worked. It's even bold and everything. So that's how we can do it. Now we can do these multiple times. Let's say we wanted the date, although technically it's my birth date, but if we wanted to then have, say, parentheses, and then we wanted the date inside the parentheses just to make it look a little nicer, we can, let's see, where's my notes for that? We just do the equals, and because it's this document, we do this, and we do date, because that's what it was called, D-A-T-E, just like that. And now if we go back in here again, you'll see that we have an error. We have this, oh, I forgot my ticks. There we go, that should fix it. And now you can see we have title, markdown cheat sheet, July 15th, 2023. So, did I actually say it was 2020? I did, didn't I? No, I didn't. Oh, down there I didn't. Here I guess I did. 1972. So this is accessing that data up there. It still wants to be 2020. Oh, because that's the date value. That's this date, not my date. Yeah, that actually makes sense. This is actually getting the current date or the date that was there originally. All right, so where is back into no. That's why I keep losing it. Control C. That's supposed to, or Control X. I'm doing it under the front matter. I'm like, wait, where'd it go? Okay, there we go. That should fix it, or at least make it easier for me. Actually, I had two there. All right, so let's go ahead and access some more of that data. Let's say, for example, we wanted our key 2. So key 2 technically is Umas Ghostwise Druid, if I'm right. It's the whole key, right? And it'll even have that other part in there as well. So key 2 technically is all of this data. So let's go ahead and access that. I'm sure you can guess how we do it. We type KEY2 colon, and I think this was throwing me off too, because there we go. So we have key 2, and we want to access that, so we do the data view inline, and we do this dot key 2. And if we run that, or you'll see that key 2 is Umas, comma, Ghostwise colon halfling. So you'll see that it's actually getting that subcategory or sub list, and then Druid. So that's working exactly as we want it to as well. Now let's say we want to access a specific portion. Let's say we wanted to get Ghostwise. Well, actually, in our case, it's Ghostwise. In my other example, it wasn't Ghostwise. But let's go ahead and do that. Once again, if you know anything about programming, this will be a lot easier. So what we do is we want to access as we think of this as an array of elements, we have array element 0, element 1, element 1, 0, or 1.0, or element 1 of, or element 0 of element 1. That makes sense. And then we have element 2, right? So if we wanted to access Ghostwise, what we could do is say, I'm going to just type it this way, key 2, and then I think the bracket, it'll think that this is a link, so we need to escape the bracket, and we want 1. So this is saying key 2 equals key 2 1. So we want that to all be output, not actually shown. Maybe that's what else I did. I didn't do colons, I did equals. Some just feels off to me. I don't know what it is yet, but I guess we'll find out. So this won't have the colon either. So this is basically what we're accessing is the first element, which will be a 0, 1, and 2. So if we want the first element, what we're going to do is say our little ticks equals, and we're going to say key 2, and we're going to do our bracket 1 bracket, just like that. Oh, I forgot the this. It won't work if you don't have the this. So if we do that, now you can see we have Ghostwise Halfling, because those are actually, that element actually is the Ghostwise Halfling. So there we go. I'm just trying to think what else. Did I have any? Let's go back in here and see what other things. Did I have any other things that I said we would come back? I don't think so. Oh, custom callouts. That uses admonition. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We'll go add admonition. So we learned how to do all the different kinds of callouts. But admonition, basically before it was built in to Obsidian where you could do the callouts the way we were doing them, you had to use admonition to create callouts, and then it was built in. But if you still want some callouts that aren't those basic ones, then you would still want admonition. And that's the only reason. Admonition. So right here, this is by Jeremy Valentine, who is a big name in the TTRPG Obsidian world. If you look at his things, he has lots of the things that we use for this. If we go type in his name right here, do Jeremy and Valentine, VAL. You'll see he has Obsidian leaflet, which is really good. Dice roller, fantasy calendar, fantasy stat blocks, setting search, initiative tracker, second window, markdown attributes, prominent, bookmarked files, and so on and so forth. So anyway, he has lots of really neat. He's definitely one person you will, as you do this stuff, will know. So now that we have that, and I believe we enabled it, we can come down here to community plugins and actually do a configuration for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our very own admonition, or our own call out. So what we want to do, I'm just trying to remember how exactly I did it. I think I did this one, add new. So if we want to add our own, what we do is click the add new, and then we can tell it the information we need for it. So for example, this admonition type, the one that I think is needed that's not there is read aloud. Those ones that, you know, you highlight and you say, oh, this is to read out loud. So I like to create one called read, and you don't want spaces, ALOUD, like that. And then the title itself can be the same thing, but can have spaces. Then you can say that there's no admonition title by default, or show copy button. I don't have either of those usually. The icon there's a whole ton of them, and I used one called book reader because I thought it made more sense. So if we do BOOK, and then I went down here and said, oh, that looks like a read out loud. They're reading to someone. So that will do that. If you have your own image in the right format and stuff, you can do that. You can change the color. I really like kind of magenta, so we'll just do 255 and 255, like so. And you can see a nice example of what our little callout's going to be right here. And once you're done, you click save. And now we have our own built-in little admonition. So right down here where we were doing all our callouts, if you remember what those were, all these different things, there's not one that's a readme or read aloud. So I like to have my own custom one just so I remember that's my read aloud. And basically all we now have to do is, if we copy, say, this guy right here, doesn't matter which one really, do a C, and we can just paste it in here. And we just have to change this to be our text that we wanted, which was READ, and you can see it wants to complete it. And we do the same thing here. Read aloud. And click there. And now if we go into view, you can see we have our own read aloud example. Wait, I did that wrong. Hold on, I kept example, didn't I? I did. So, yeah, we'll say, I don't know, what did I put in my text here? Just to see what I put. Scroll down. So I think, yeah, I just wrote READ ALOUD like so. Oh, am I in the wrong mode? Nope, not yet. All right, so we have a space there too, which is throwing it off. We didn't have a space in example. It did that when we pasted it. Interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and do read. Oh my goodness. Read and aloud. Do I have a space there? Yeah, that's fine. ALOUD. So as with all those other ones, we're not e-read. This first thing will be the, when it's even compressed, it'll be basically the title, and then inside you will actually have your data. Read aloud again. That can be whatever you want inside this part without the little ticks. That's just so it doesn't render this. So if we do that, now we have our read aloud, and inside we have the read aloud. Technically, if you wanted, we could get rid of this control. I'm going to do an X. That's fine. I was just thinking how I could replace it back. I'm going to do V up there. All right, so if I come up here where all this lorem ipsum fun stuff is, I'll just copy that. And let's say this is what I want for the read aloud. Hit enter there, it'll automatically put that, hit V. And now if we do it, you'll see that we have the information we're gonna need to read aloud. And once again, you can actually add your different, types of what's it called? Markdown. We've only been doing this forever now. Let's go ahead and just throw an underline in there like so. So if we do that, you'll see that all that stuff is still rendered in there. We have our underline, we have that. We have somewhere in, I think it's that right there is the the italics and so on and so forth. So I think that was all the things that I said we would come back. We're going to go more in depth into Dataview in the next few, maybe 2 episodes or so, because there's a lot more than just simply accessing front matter data. You can actually look at your entire vault as a database and query against it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click that little notification bell. Sorry, I was going to grab my notes over here and put them back. Click that little notification bell. Tell other people about my channel. You know the drill. There we go. And that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.